All right. This is our Western Hunt Expo first.
Yeah.
All right. We got Ryan, Dustin, and Jackson with Hunt Stealth.
Yes, sir.
It is it Friday?
It's Friday.
It's
It's
Friday.
about 10:45.
Yeah. We spent the last like
Doors
2.5 hours
just
trying to
opened,
get this
yeah.
stuff all set up.
Yeah, doors just open. Ton of people out here today.
Huge turnout.
And we met these fellas.
Yeah, one of the first people we ran into, fellow podcasters. So appreciate you guys hopping on, man.
Appreciate you
Absolutely.
having us.
Yeah, so you
This
guys
will be a first. This is the first time I'm on the other end of the podcast.
Is this the first time you're a guest?
Yeah, first time I've been a guest, yeah.
We are your first in many occasions.
That's right. That's right.
Many occasions.
So tell us a little bit about Hunt Stealth. How'd you guys get started? What's it about?
I'll let Jackson tell kind of how the whole podcast thing came about.
Well, we're new. We're 4 or 5 months old. Been releasing podcasts since last November-ish.
Right on.
October 4th.
October. A little bit longer, but
That's his November-ish.
Yeah.
November-ish, yeah. But we started hunting 4 years ago. Didn't grow up hunting. Wasn't something we were accustomed to. Always loved the outdoors.
Your dad was a jerk, though.
After 15 years of begging him to go down to Wild Arrow and get me a bow, finally after I graduated, did it on my own.
There you go.
And so,
Had to earn it.
yeah, that's right. But
That's right.
that's how we got into hunting. Got really into archery
Okay.
and bow hunting. So that's how we started. And then we
That's
started.
That's all we're
So
still.
did
That's
you-
all I'm still doing.
Did
is
you
just
piggyback
archery.
off of him? Like he wanted to do the hunt and you saw how much fun he was
Well,
having?
He came to me and he was like, Dad, he's like, I want to do this. He's like, I bought a bow. And he's like, dude, I just barely got
Hold up. You're his dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's the relation here?
That's what I said.
We can
Nothing.
get into that eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's no relation, but
Gotcha.
Now there
It's
is.
just, I
Now
mean,
there is.
you know, they don't know our story,
Yeah.
but
You
there's
explain it?
relation all three of us too. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
kind of funny. Yeah.
Well, let's get to that because I want to hear it. But yeah, so Jackson had come to me and he's like, Dad, he's like, I bought this bow, and I mean, we grew up. We spent a lot of time together. Like I coached baseball. Like the guys that we were just over there talking to with, like we coached together. Kids that we played, they played on that. And anyway, Jackson's just like, hey, like I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, thinking I've got myself an out. I'm like, let's go put in, if we can both draw out the same unit for a mule deer, I'm like, I'll go get a bow. And I'm like, I'm off. I'm off the hook.
We're not drawing this.
I'm like, I'm off the hook. And so anyway, it was like July or something. We were up at the cabin up at Bear Lake, and we're out on the water, and I opened it up, and I was like, did you get the notification? He's like, what did you draw? What did you draw? And I was like,
I'm buying a bow.
I'm buying a bow. So we went down and got it, and for me, like it was something fun to do with him. Now that baseball was kind of over,
Yeah.
Right.
and I went out and I started shooting, and I was like, this is fun.
Absolutely.
And then started working like on the range, and I'm like, oh, I can reach out and like hit my mark at 100 yards. Like I kind of have like a natural ability. Like I was pretty good at hitting my target.
Yeah.
I've yet to hit a live target, but
Yeah.
but that's a little bit harder when the target's moving.
I was like,
Yeah.
there's
But
a
yeah.
little more factors there. Yeah.
So anyway, so that was kind of how we had got started in the hunting game, and then we work in advertising, and we worked with some other clients, and we went out and we were talking to a potential client, and they loved our idea. We put together like a full 1-year plan for them,
yeah.
and they're like, hey, we're going to do it, and we're like, sweet, but like we're going to do it on our own. And so we come home, and Jackson's like, this is BS. He's like, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. It's like, we
Right.
bust our butt, and we put a plan. They go and initiate it themselves. And he's like, I've always wanted to start a hunting brand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's great. We've got tons of pictures for us to share with how successful we are at hunting. I'm like, how do we get into this without, knowing what we're doing? Like, we're brand new. And anyway, and then I've got some clients I've worked with that are like, hey, you should just start a podcast for people that are new to hunting. So that's really what our podcast is.
Right on.
Is for people that are new to hunting. And we've had some really cool guests on. We had like, I got lucky and got Donnie Vincent on to be like my first guest. And like, I don't know like where you go from there. I mean, maybe Cam Haynes is next. but
Something.
There you
Yeah.
I'm like terrified he's going to have me like run up like Mount Pisgah with
Joe
him.
Rogan.
Like, yeah.
You want to show you're doing the
Carry the rock.
Yeah.
You got to carry the rock.
I quit.
So-
I quit.
Anyway, so to kind of come full circle on that, so Jackson and I, like, we started working on this, and I was like, okay, who do we know? And like, so Dustin, And his cousin Quinn is also a partner. He's not here today. It's Valentine's or something, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to spend some time with my wife. And I'm like,
Probably
yeah,
the
well,
smartest
The
decision.
smart one out
He's
of
the
all six
smart
of us.
one,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He's going to be the one that stays married after this. But anyway, so I called Dustin. Like when Jackson, I'm like, hey, let's do it. And Jackson's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm calling Dustin because Dustin's got like a pretty good following in the hunting space. He's been doing it a long time, and Quinn and Dustin have kind of been like mentors, like helping us along the line. And I was like, hey, do you guys want to do it? And this is me talking a lot, so I'll
Yeah,
let-
no,
I'll let
I was going to
Dustin
say,
jump in.
Give us your-
you called me, but my cousin Quinn, he didn't know that I knew you. But I had met you at
when we were moving him out.
We were moving him out, yeah. And so me and Quinn, we actually had, our social media following, and we actually tried to start a business and a following and that kind of stuff. We sold some shirts and some hats and had a couple of sponsors at one point,
Right.
but it never really took off. And we kind of, we had kids and
Sure.
Life.
career,
Life got in the way.
dead heat in our career and that kind of stuff. And the weird part is I just gotten done listening to a podcast, and it wasn't a bad podcast, but I was like, man, there needs to be something different out there. It's the same thing over and over again. So he called me literally hours later, and mentions all this, and has all the connections with iHeartMedia and iHeartRadio that he works on, and I just got super excited. I was actually had all these thoughts of like, oh, I'm going to quit my day job and go be an outfitter, and I was trying to figure out how to like,
It's coming.
make a living doing something else.
Right.
And then so he called me, and it just stirred up all kinds of like emotions and passion
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, we were talking when we were walking somewhere else, and it's kind of like that conundrum of like, what do you want to do with? And you guys are so new. It's just weird that you guys are new with the podcast side. Like, where do you want to go with it, and what do you want this to be your full-time thing? Do you not want it to be your full-time thing? And we were talking about the stories. And I was telling him about our Tales of the Chase episodes and how we would go out to Colorado and we'd sit around the campfire and we'd bullshit for hours every night after we'd be done hunting.
Well, most of us stayed sitting. Some of us didn't make it.
I mean, I fell a few times.
fell a few times. And we're like, can you imagine if we recorded this stuff?
Yeah.
How awesome it would be. And, that's how ours kind of started. But we like to hear, I mean, I don't really know of a lot of them that there's relation. Like, I didn't know you guys were father and son and your cousin.
Yep.
We're in-laws. All three of us are in-laws to each other.
Okay.
So he's my brother-in-law. He's married to my little sister. And I'm married to his first
He's
cousin.
my cousin-in-law.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So
So that's a good way to keep an eye
So
on.
are those
out
two
for your
related
sister.
then?
no, they're not.
No, so no
I'm the
relation here.
commonality between these two.
Yeah.
You're the middleman.
Yeah, I'm the middleman. Yeah, but
And it's just you three on this.
just us
Yep.
three. Yep. Yeah.
We
and
got,
then, of course,
we got a lot of
guests.
buddies that like kind of support us and help us, and
Yeah.
they do a lot of stuff with
Special
us.
guests.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Guest
repeat
host, we like to
guests.
call 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're passionate about
Friends of the
outdoors and
show.
stuff and have
Yeah.
good knowledge, so we bring them on and tell their stories along with ours.
Yeah, do a lot of hunting trips, and kind of our core hunting group that we hunt together. We do a lot of coyote tournaments and that sort of thing, and we got our groups and stuff. So
Yeah.
a lot of good buddies that
Yeah.
tag along with us on this.
So going
journey.
back though to archery, but
Yeah.
these guys, they're our guests here. Archery. So you picked up the bow first.
Yeah.
What was
Okay.
your first bow?
So what are your guys' first bows? That's
Dude,
what I want to know.
Jackson, do not go Zuckerberg right now.
I'll try not to. So my first bow was the Matthews V3.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good bow?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're correct.
Anyway,
Good choice.
And the reason I went with the Matthews, so I was doing roofing and siding for a company that I've been with outside of high school for a while that I no longer do. But all of them had bows, and after work, they'd all be in the back of the shop shooting their bows, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
You were just
Yeah.
sitting there doing nothing.
Yep. I was like, I need one of those, and I need to get an elk with it.
Absolutely.
So went down to Wild Arrow the next day, picked up the Matthews V3 because it's what they had in stock,
Yep.
and I shot it. Like I liked the look of it at the time over all the other bows, so went with that. And I like the nicest things. I don't like to.
Hey,
I mean,
if
it's
you
a,
like
it's
what
a
you like,
struggle.
You have expensive taste, is what
Yeah.
you're
You
saying.
like,
Yes.
you like what you like.
You should see his wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so picked that up, got all the accessories, everything, just started shooting.
Well,
All
hold
the
on,
time.
Hold on a second. You skipped past the first time you shot your bow.
Yes. Okay.
That's
The
a funny,
first
That's
time-
a funny story.
After I got the bow, got it all, fitted, everything, peep sight set, went back to the shop, to go shoot with all the guys, and it's set up where the back of the shop, it goes the back of the shop, then a train track, than the city public works building.
You hit the city public works building, didn't you?
Well, kind
Let him
of.
get there. Let him
Luckily,
Ish.
it's where they store the snow plows and all that good stuff. So they had a big pile of salt. And I had started off with the hinge release, which was the worst idea ever.
yeah.
You know, that's what all the people that I was working with had been shooting. They're like, this is going to be, you know, it's the best.
They're
most
probably all
comfortable.
going after he went and bought it. They're like, watch this.
Yeah. Anyways,
got this kid.
we've got the target set up, and there's like a little ditch
Sure.
between the back of the parking lot and the train track. So the target's just set up back there, which is a terrible idea. But I draw back, and I get halfway back. Luckily, it wasn't a full draw, but I get halfway back, and I'm up too.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm new, and it just goes
Starts
off,
with the old high draw.
Yeah.
and it is.
You can hear the.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
And it's a white, and it's just, you can see right through. So I saw the green fletchings and the salt,
Oh,
and I'm
man.
like, okay.
At least it's salt, man.
could've been
At least
worse.
it's salt.
Yeah.
It's like, do I wait for the sun to go down to go good?
Yeah. Hopped the fence really
But
quick, ran over there,
Yeah.
grabbed my arrow, ran
Dodged
back,
the train on the
I
way
left.
back.
They'll walk of shame back.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways,
We've all been there, man.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, but it took me a few days to get comfortable to shoot again.
Yeah.
So I went and got the Wise Guy. Love that release. It's what I still
Yeah.
shoot.
Right on. Right on.
What about
And-
Dad? What do you
Yeah,
like?
what'd you pick up?
I went and bought the Cam Hanes signature Hoyt Ventum 33.
You didn't.
Oh, man. Didn't
You
mess
didn't
around.
fuck around. You just said I'm going after it.
Yeah, yeah. Expensive taste too. I'm gonna go after it, but yeah, it felt a little bit weird now that like I'm rocking a Cam Hanes. I think I feel like a little bit, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like a groupie. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
You put your pinky up a little bit
But
when you
yeah.
shoot. Yeah.
yeah. I jump, do a little kick after I hit a target.
But,
But
the Hoyt,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I
Well,
got
the good
Hoyt.
thing is when you get a Cam Hanes anything, you automatically get in better shape.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Dude, the
He
crazy.
rubs off on you no matter what. You just don't
That's
know
right.
it, but you can run faster. I guarantee you. Than
Oh,
you used to
I
be able to.
guarantee you I can run. And it is. Well, that's the thing is like we went out and started climbing up these slopes on the mountain, and I'm like,
I gotta hold my bow now. Okay, now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point now where it's like I've lost some weight. I've lost probably about 25 pounds of fat. I still got a little bit to go, but like I felt really good this year. I mean, we took we could jump into that story, but we went way back country. I mean, it's just in Davis County, which is not too far from where we live, but yeah, like we were able to keep pushing, and I felt good that I had to stop a couple times. I'm like, you good? You all right? Like we get. I mean, it was steep. It was like a 45 incline,
Yeah.
like brush
Bushwhacking
oak.
up to
I mean,
our
yeah,
shoulders.
it was
Damn.
bushwhacking shoulder height. But I was proud of my conditioning. Yeah. So
That's
yes,
awesome.
thank you, Cam, for
Yeah.
I mean, he has inspired a lot of people to get into it. I mean, when you
100%.
start
No
getting
doubt.
into hunting, you start looking around.
Well, I
and-
mean, the shoot your bow every day deal.
Yep.
Like
we did that
a lot
for
of,
a while.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
fell off a
gets
little
on
bit.
that, and it just makes you a better hunter. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all that really matters. That's what he does. Is he
Yeah.
pushes people to be better.
Well, and
You know.
it's interesting too. Like one of the things, just like I have ADHD, you know, shocker, right? but
Guilty.
but when I when I get out, and I told my wife when I shoot my bow every day. Even if I go just take like one shot, I try and just go out front yard, like 20-yard shot. But just going out there, and it kind of reminds me. Do you guys remember like For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner?
Oh, yeah.
Like clear the mechanism.
Yep.
Right? Like that's kind of what it does to me for the day. It kind of like sets the tone for the day for me. It just helps me because when you go out there and you get locked in, you kind of have to block everything else out.
Oh, for sure.
And so I've been able to take that and apply that to a whole bunch of other aspects of my life,
Right.
which have been, you know, super, super cool. It's been fun to see just like me as a person kind of like holding into, you know,
Yeah.
something better. So
That's awesome.
doubt.
Yeah.
What about you? I mean,
That's what
you've been
Justin
hunting for a
tells- yeah.
long time.
Not like a crazy long time.
Okay.
So me and my cousin, our family's been hunting like eastern Utah for like 35 years.
Okay.
So we had some connections there on how to get into animals. But we started with rifle, I want to say like 2014-ish, but my cousin talked me into buying a bow, and I don't even know the name. It's a Hoyt, but I don't even know the version of the – I just know I still shoot it today. And
Yeah.
Right.
He's trying to talk me into a Matthews this year. But
Well, I'm a gearhead. He's got the Hoyt Power Max.
He knows
That's what
exactly
it
what
is.
it is.
See, I don't even know what it is. I
There's
just know
one. There's one in every group. There's
Yep.
a gearhead in every group.
Yeah.
He's our guy.
all I know is I need a new bow at this point.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But my cousin Quinn, he talked me into it, and I was like, dude, you are crazy. I don't want to buy a bow. Like, we have trouble getting into, tagging out on a rifle.
Right.
And so he
Now
talked
we're
me into
trying
it.
to screw ourselves even more here.
He talked me
Yeah.
into it, and then that was all she wrote after
Yeah.
that. Like,
More
it was-
opportunity,
it
more
was
time.
Like, we
Yeah.
got into a rut fest, and like,
Yep.
the
Dude, once you get that,
Like,
it's just
yeah. And after that, I was like, okay, this rifle stuff, I'll do it, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out with the bow.
yeah.
Right.
And Quinn, he's he's the toughest guy I've ever met, and so what he loves about it was that it was so hard,
Yeah.
and so it just put a fire under me, and I'm like, we have got to figure this out.
yeah.
And the reward when you do tag out, you're like, holy crap, I'm just not gonna go back to rifle hunting.
Yeah.
It
No-
makes it-
nothing
it makes
against
it different.
rifle hunting. It's just that
No.
it was just like,
We're
we
those
wanted to
guys
do it
like
the hard way.
we'll pull out the boomstick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
If
we
the
do it
deer
too. We
start
did it
to
last
piss
year.
us
Our,
off.
our passion is
Yeah.
definitely bow
Yeah.
hunting, but our rifle season's November for deer, anyways, and we pull out the boomstick for sure. And then we were talking earlier, we're big coyote hunters. Nothing wrong with pulling
Yeah.
out the gun.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about the podcast itself. How can people listen? What do you guys? How many episodes are we in now? You said you only been doing it for a few months now.
Yeah.
So
We've got.
how can people check it out?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. So, I mean, you can go to our website, huntstealth.com. We've got links to the podcast on there. If you go to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart,
All your podcasting platforms.
all your
Yep.
podcasting
Okay.
platforms you can find. It's just the Hunt Stealth podcast. We're doing 2 episodes a week.
Ooh,
Oh, right
you guys
on.
are
Yeah, I got a wild hair up
Getting
my ass.
ambitious.
I'm like, I love this. Let's
Too much
do more
free
of it.
time.
And Dustin, Dustin helps coordinate a lot of the podcast interviews and that, and he's got a ton of connections as well. Dustin's really connected in the hunting industry, so he's been really good about doing that. And he's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that?"
That's awesome.
And so they're about an hour long. And we just have a blast. I have all guests on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do like one episode a month where it's like the crew gets together and we
Right.
kind of talk about like our upcoming plans, like what we're working on and
Sure.
things like that. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun and we really enjoy it. You should. One story that I want to make sure to tell. We bumped into Ashton. Was it Ashton? When we walked
Yeah.
in yesterday, what was his?
Ashton.
Ashton was Colton. I
I
forget
don't
his
know
name.
his last name.
Anyway, there's a hunt story.
Something.
There's a story where he's. I don't know. You've never met him, but he's
I don't
been
know who it
talking
is.
with you. You don't know what we're talking about. You know who he is. You guys talk, but you guys had like.
He's the guy that hunts at the same spot that you do. And he messaged you on Instagram. That's what he told me.
After the black. So anyway, he was hunting.
Dude,
Justin's
so
like-
many people message me,
Justin's
and
like,
I
"What?"
just forget.
So
I don't know,
anyway,
I'll have to figure it out.
here's the you'll know who he is. But anyway, there's a story where it's a super funny story because we have another thing where we went out and I mean I don't know how you guys are on time, but
Oh, we're good.
Dustin.
This SD card runs for a while.
Okay. So Dustin and Quinn were up hunting elk in the Uintas.
I think I know who you're talking about. He hunts the same area.
Yes.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay,
Heard
but
that
what
before.
I said, but what
yeah,
I
it like took me a minute.
Is there
because
echo in here?
we just said that.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me. I saw a kid over there that looked like him, and that's kind of what it reminded me. But tell the hunting story about what happened. Your experience up there with another predator,
With another hunter or with the elk.
the bear.
Oh,
Come on, man. Do you want me to tell it?
so I have elk
This
on
is
my.
your
I
story.
got
Pulling the
elk
rope.
on my.
He's gonna
I got
get him
elk
there.
on my mind right now. I'm like, when I called in that elk for Quinn or like.
Well, so
the
hang on.
mule
Let
there?
me.
So
okay.
the bear story.
Okay,
You're
hang
talking
on.
about
I'm
the
going to
bear
stop you for
story.
a second. Well, I'll let you finish, and this is why it's funny. Go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm terrible.
So I can tell the story real quick, but
No.
I'm wondering what happened because you ran into Ashton. Because he
Well,
goes.
I'll tell you later. Just tell the story.
Well, anyways,
There's a bear shit in the woods.
more like he made me shit
more,
my pants.
more like, does a man shit in the woods?
Yes.
But no, had kind of we go down this canyon. It's an 8-mile trek down to. We go way high and we drop down and we hike in and we hunt all day and we usually get into elk and whatnot. Like I said, we've been hunting there for 35 years, my family, and very rarely do they see like a bear. I think they've seen a couple,
Maybe a
here
few
and there.
times.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, we were going down, and it was probably like 8:30 in the morning, and the sun was starting to come up, and I started to get hot. And so I started, eating snacks and delayering. So I wasn't like really ready, but I had food out, and that's the key to the story, because I thought this bear ended up smelling the food. But what happened was it's so loud. So I put all my stuff away, threw my stuff in my pack, went up this hill, and my cousins, they were down below me. So it's this big canyon, and I knew I was higher than him, and I was kind of going up at this ridge to kind of go down, and the canyon kind of goes like this. So anyways, the bear was up here, and I didn't know it at the time, so I went up, and my cousins are like cow calling down here, and I just had food out. But anyways, I heard this loud thrashing and whatnot, and usually when we hear that, it's elk.
Sure.
Thrashing a
And
tree.
so we had the boomsticks out. I threw up my 7mm, and literally full speed. I mean, this was a big black bear. He was full speed right at me, just.
Oh shit!
And I just reacted. I wasn't gonna. I was like,
He shit his pants.
Yeah.
absolutely. and
Rightfully
I'm just
so.
like,
Right.
and if it was just walking, I wouldn't have done anything. I just would have
Sure.
watched it. But it was full speed right at me. Like I could see, like he couldn't run straight because there's so many trees. I could see him go like
He was
hovering around
coming.
trees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap, he smelt my food. He's coming after me. He was totally coming right towards me. And I just remember thinking, I don't want to kill it.
Right.
Shoot high. So I literally shot right above it.
It's like the Lenny Pepper bottom. I don't want to kill the animal.
Yeah.
Keep your distance.
But anyways, I was like, oh, I'll shoot and it'll go away. And and this was like within seconds when I saw it, because
Like how
I didn't
close,
realize
how
this
close are
happened
we
fast,
talking
yeah.
at this point?
so this was probably 50 yards.
oh wow.
Oh, okay.
He's
Close enough.
like on top of you
He was like
already.
on
enough.
top of me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was loud.
Yeah.
It was so loud. Like it's like really rocky, and he was going over all these rocks and stuff. And so I shot above him. He's still coming at me, and I can see him in my peripheral vision. And I'm like, my gun gets jammed, and I'm like, holy crap.
This is how it ends.
Like, I'm like, holy crap. Like, I'm going to have to, like, I just remember thinking in my mind, okay.
Fight this bear.
he's
fight.
like, he's like
I was like,
Revenant.
and there's with the
Revenant.
Grizz, you want to play
Captain
dead.
Insano.
Yeah.
With the Grizz, you want to play dead. But I mean, he was a brown, he was black bear, but he was brown
Right,
cinnamon
sure.
color. And so I remember seeing him in my peripheral vision and being like, holy cow, he's coming at me, and I could see him. And by the time he got 12 yards from me, full speed, and was like going around this tree right towards me. And I just remember like seeing my bullet drop down, and I remember thinking in my mind, get this effing bullet in the chamber. So I put down, and I just kind of shot in his direction to just get him out of there, and I shot. And he might not have attacked me or whatever, but I was just trying to get him away. So
Sure,
I kind
sure.
of shot in his direction.
So he was
went
just like
that
a
way,
few
he went
yards
that way.
away by the end of it.
Yeah, and so it just spooked me.
Oh
But
wow.
That
Oh,
is
that's crazy,
that's
man.
one of those stories you're like, why do I do this?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to kill it or anything like that. I just reacted, and because
Right.
I didn't replay it in my mind before it happened. I had elk on my mind.
Sure.
So when it happened, I just reacted, and it spooked me. So
That's
Well,
crazy.
you're not
That's
dead, so
wild.
that's good.
yeah.
Yeah. Made it out alive.
My wife didn't like that story when I called her that
Oh,
night.
I bet not.
She was like, "Are you?
You
are
don't
you
tell
gonna
that,
hunt again?"
dude. You don't tell that until you get home.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But then
I fought a bear, babe.
I wish I would have fought
Be
it
ready.
by hand.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
wasn't the case.
That bear
You know,
up.
but bears they can do the fake charge too. I don't know if it was doing that.
Yeah,
or
the
coming
bluff
after my-
charge or whatever.
The bluff
What he was
charge.
doing.
I don't know. I
man.
just reacted.
If it gets within a few yards, I'm probably just gonna be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pay the fine.
It's been
I
a good life.
guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, just kick it.
Yeah. Shoot.
Well, so hey, and conversely, I know we're kind of going to share this episode on ours as well.
Sure.
For our audience, why don't you share a little bit about what you guys do, and
What's the story? What's the connection with Ashton then? With that story.
I'll tell
Oh.
you later.
Okay.
Off air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
So yeah, the Missouri Woods and Water podcast. We got Nate and two douchebags that are here sometimes.
He's so mature, right?
D1,
I know
D1,
why-
D2?
I know why,
Yeah.
But no, we've been we're about actually the episode. I can't guarantee this, but this episode that we are recording with you right now is the 250th that we
Okay.
have recorded. I'm not sure
Milestone
it'll
right
be
here.
number 250 depending on how things go
How
this
we're
week.
releasing
Yeah,
things.
how it
Yeah.
lays out.
But we're about 250 episodes in, almost 5 years, and we talk about
That's
stuff
so
that's
awesome.
related to the state of Missouri, but not always. We like to go out west. We mainly hunt whitetail, elk, and coyotes is our main bread and butter. We have talked about other things, trying to learn, educate ourselves on other types of hunting like duck hunting and goose hunting, but.
I do some turkey hunting. I'm not
little
good
bit of
at
turkey
it.
hunting,
I do
yeah.
turkey hunting.
But we have a
Some
lot of
bow
guests
fishing.
on, really good guests. We have
And then us. Really good guests.
other
and then
podcasts.
us.
Us, yeah.
We love
No, you guys
one of
been
our
great.
episodes. We call it the Tales of the Chase episode, which is I was telling Dustin about earlier. Just a story,
Yeah.
where we're just. It could be Cam Haynes would be fine. I'd like him to come on and tell a story, or just an first kid with their first deer. We've had Micah's son on a couple months
he
ago.
got
Killed his first
last
deer.
year,
That's awesome.
so-
We got. It just depends on what we do. I've got a buddy when he was 40 years old, decided to go hunting for the first time, killed his first deer. He came on the show and told the story. Just, all kinds of stuff. People like hearing regular, what we are, which is average Joes,
I like to hear that.
talk
the most.
about that sort
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So we do like to have industry experts on.
And we all have different
And average
interests.
people.
Nate and Micah like stories a lot. I like information.
learning
I like
something.
learning
Yeah.
stuff out of them. So we're a good balance. We try to get people to teach us things, but also people to tell us their experiences. So it's
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's I think it's super fun. It's a really fun industry to be a part of, and being able to hear and share different stories. Like me, like Anthony Dorsett, he taught me a new term. He goes, you have adult onset hunting, because I've been doing it for 4 years. I started when I'm 41, so I'm
Yeah.
45 now, and I'm by no means. I don't even pretend to be an expert.
Right.
for sure.
Like I'm going to call you when I kill my first animal, and I'll be like, okay,
Guess what
Now
I
what
did?
do I
guess
do?
what I did? Yeah.
Right.
How do I quarter this
How
thing
do I
out?
gut this thing or get it out of here? Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you come here, you get at the expo like this, and
Right.
you're just surrounded by people that just share a similar passion, and it's a ton of fun. So
Awesome. Well, Ryan, Dustin, Jackson with Hunt Stealth, thanks for coming on. I remembered your name.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on, guys, and you're being our first Western Hunt
Yeah.
Expo recording.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us. Show.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
Yep.
you guys.
All right.
We'll see you, boys.
See you.
See you.